Can the Los Angeles Clippers get their mojo back? It's gonna get even worse for second-apron teams this offseason. So how do the Clippers pay for this season? Let's find out. Will they come from behind win over the Chicago Bulls in a crypto matinee? The Los Angeles Clippers clinched their 13th straight season with a 500 record, or better, the longest ever active streak in the NBA. If we see, the last time the Clippers finished with a losing record was 2010-2011. When Blake Griffin was a 21-year-old rookie and Steve Ballmer was 3 years away from purchasing the team. And yet, despite all that regular season success, the franchise has been unable to shed its reputation for falling short. I think fans know what and how good the team is in the regular season, which is why there's so much frustration and heartache in the postseason, Paul George said after the Bulls game. As you are all wondering, the Los Angeles Clippers recently signed star forward Kawhi Leonard to a long 3-year with a $152.4 million fully guaranteed extension. So now Leonard is set to earn $52 million in the first year of his new deal and roughly $50 million per season over the ensuing 2 years. Well, remember in the 2019 offseason, the Clippers signed Kawhi Leonard and traded for George, kicking off a new chapter in the franchise's effort to win an NBA title and wrestle a greater share of LA's basketball fandom. And what happened a year later? Leonard tore his ACL, leaving his team undermanned in a 6-game series loss to the Suns during the Clippers' first Western Finals trip in franchise history. With Leonard out for the entire 2021-22 season, LA missed the postseason altogether. And last year, the 6-seeded Clippers lost to Phoenix in the first round as Leonard played just 2 games and George missed the entire series due to injury. Then, why do the Clippers still want Leonard? But this season, the Clippers' last before a crosstown move into their own arena is perhaps the most promising game. And with 57 games apiece, Leonard and George have so far managed to not only stay healthy, but also play some of the best hoops of their partnership. So, by signing Leonard to this extension, the Clippers might have just created the blueprint of how to build around Big Threes under the NBA's new collective bargaining agreement. So, currently the Clippers are one of those teams with $17.25 million over the second apron, and they could have an even more expensive roster next season if they can re-register Paul George and James Harden alongside Leonard. Remember James Harden? The same one whom LA acquired from Philly 3 games into the season has taken on primary ball handling duties and seamlessly meshed into the Clippers' All-NBA wing duo. Anyway, under the new CBA, the salary cap can increase by up to 10% annually, but Leonard's salary projections to either decrease or stay flat over the life of his extension, which should give the Clippers additional flexibility to build around him. So Leonard should be seemingly mindful of that when negotiating his new extension. Based on the current $142 million salary cap projection for the 2024-25 season, he was eligible to sign a 3-year extension worth $161 million or a 4-year extension worth nearly $222.7 million. But well, Leonard took a projected $8.6 million less than his maximum salary. That is, Leonard is hardly the first star to sign a below-max contract. According to ESPN, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh each took roughly $15 million less than their respective maxes when they signed 6-year contracts with the Miami Heat in 2010. The Clippers can only hope that George and Harden will follow suit. Though the structure of Leonard's extension matters too. He'll earn a max or near-max salary in 2024-25, depending on where the salary cap ultimately lands, but he will be well below his max salary over the ensuing 2 seasons. But what about the new CBA restrictions? Well, for teams above the league's luxury tax threshold and teams above the new second apron, which is set at $17.5 million above the tax line, this season have no longer access to any mid-level exception in free agency. They can't even take back as much salary in trades as they previously could and can't sign players in the buyout market who previously earned more than the non-taxpayer MLE. So, it gets even worse for second-apron teams beginning this offseason. They won't be allowed to aggregate contracts in trades, take back more salary than they send out in trades, and trade first-round picks that are 7 years in the future, among other things. So, from mid-November until the All-Star break, the Clippers went 33-10, the best record in the West during that stretch. They climbed from outside the play-in all the way to the top of the conference at one point, solidifying their place in the title picture with consistently dominating play. But since then, Clippers have struggled to recapture that rhythm. That break didn't help, obviously. Guard Terrence Mann said, "It kinda came right in the middle of the good flow that we've had." Any idea how much the Clippers have earned since the All-Star festivities? It's gone just 5-5, with curious collapses against the Bucks and Lakers, who will raise a double-digit lead to stun their crosstown foe in the last Clippers-Lakers showdown as arena contestants. To add injury to insult, Russell Westbrook fractured his left hand 2 days later. He has since undergone surgery and is unclear when he'll return. So, now the Clippers find themselves fourth in the West, having all but fallen out of the race for the #1 spot. But LA has its sights set on more than the seeding. It has just over a month to get healthy and regain its mojo, starting with a crucial home matchup against the Timberwolves, who currently lead the Clippers by 2 games in the standings. "We won some games off talent, just having the team that we have," Clippers coach Ty Lue said. What he says is that just have to understand and pay attention to detail and work on executing on both sides of the basketball. Unfortunately, they haven't done a great job over the last 10 games or so. Is there a certain irony to the stretch run of this Clippers season? Well, after more than a decade of regular season success, they all know too well that the real proving problem is the playoff. But at the same time, they understand the importance of finishing the regular season strong and carrying momentum and winning habits into the postseason. And despite their mid-season lull, the Clippers project the steady self-confidence of a veteran team that knows itself and knows what's required of it. "We've been exceptional when healthy," George said. "Now, hopefully, it's time to put it all together and make it meaningful." As you all know, the most important Clippers season turning point arrived 15 days after Harden trade, on the morning following their 6th defeat in a row to the Nuggets in mid-November. Well, Harden had missed most of training camp while plotting his exit out of Philly, and the Clippers were struggling to find a rhythm as their new point guard learned Lue's offense on the fly. So, after a shameful loss to the Nuggets, Westbrook approached Lue with a proposal. He said, "Listen, we've lost 6 games in a row." Lue said, "I don't know if that's necessarily the change we need, but we'll take a look at it." Surprisingly, Lue ended up taking his star guard up on his offer, and the modification immediately bore fruit. With more room to operate, Harden unlocked his game and those of George and Leonard. But the move also allowed Westbrook to carve out a more optimal role for himself. Playing against second units, Westbrook thrived as a tone-setting, pace-pushing ball of energy on an otherwise slow and methodical roster. And even more importantly, according to Lue and other Clippers, Westbrook's outspokenness and tough love remained critical for a team whose star prefers a reserved form of leadership. Kawhi and PG, they do it better by example, Lue said. But Westbrook came in, instant leadership, instant talking, and the communication and helping our young guys along has really been good. Even guard Bones Highland reassures that Westbrook has been especially valuable in bringing the Clippers' younger players along and facilitating buying up and down the roster. That's why he's so crucial and so important to our team. Because we have guys that are maybe just not as vocal and maybe not just going to speak up on anything. But Russ provides that, so it's big. As you can see, the past weekend of the Clippers offer a snapshot of what that may look like, but due to overlapping homestands with the Lakers and the LA Kings, the Clips host back-to-back afternoon games with a tip-off separated by just 23 hours. And they won recently against the Meeting Bulls and lost to the Bucks, with both Leonard and George missing the latter game. So as the team builds towards the finish, these players' health has taken precedence. But can they maintain execution and can tap back into the kind of basketball that made them contenders? Comment your thoughts below. Do hit the like button and share the video with your Clipper gang. For more NBA updates,